TIL Marie Antoinette built an entire fake village, complete with a working farm and fake villagers, in the backyard of Chateau de Versailles, so she could pretend to be a peasant whenever she felt like it. The little hamlet is gorgeous, so if you go to Versailles, do make time to visit it. Marie Antoinette was not the first person to build a fake village. The trend was actually in vogue at the time. Louis XV's sister built one as well, I think, and there was a very elaborate one constructed at Chantilly Castle, amongst others. There was a pastoral movement going on at the time where nobles were infatuated with the idea of the simple life, and many of them built model villages where they could romanticize about peasant lives, while having no idea what that entailed. Marie Antoinette was actually a little more aware of peasant concerns than others. According to Antonia Fraser, she was the only noble who wouldn't trample peasant crops while out hunting. And her own daughter hated her because Marie Antoinette continually made her play with peasant children and give all of her toys to them. Absolutely late to this one, so it probably won't get seen. Edit, sorry, when I posted this the post was at 500 plus comments and I assumed it'd get lost in the shuffle. But this is incorrect. There were no fake villagers at the Hameau de la Reine, only actual workers. Marie Antoinette did not pretend to be a peasant there. This is a misconception that developed during the 19th century, along with the let them eat cake myth. To quote an older comment, https://www. reddit.com/r/hex/1_of_the_house_Marie_Antoinette_in/fvv4d0k/. It was not intended to be a mock peasant village, nor is there any evidence that Marie Antoinette ever pretended to be a peasant, milkmaid, or anything of the sort while staying there. This was a myth that popped up during the 19th century, thanks in large part to the rise of the also false let them eat cake myth, all of which went a long way towards incorrectly portraying Marie Antoinette as a lupaditz pretending to be a shepherdess. The Hameau de la Reine was a way for Marie Antoinette to taste idealized country life for an elite woman, not an attempt at recreating any sort of peasant life. Marie Antoinette knew peasants didn't live like this, and while any elite person in the 18th century couldn't really be empathetic to the lives of the poor, she was sympathetic and showed this throughout her time in France through frequent charity, founding charities specifically targeted vulnerable populations, single mothers, for instance, donating food and provisions during hard winters or times of hardship, etc. Through the Hameau de la Reine, Marie Antoinette was embracing French philosophical ideas which promoted the idea of people, especially women, abandoning the cities and courts in favor of a life in the country where they could focus on raising children, living quiet private lives, embracing agricultural production, and generally avoiding, again, especially for women, the dangerous masculine pursuits of politics and court life. At the hamlet, Marie Antoinette acted like the elite mistress of a country estate with a farm. She would consult with the man appointed to manage the grounds, approve or discuss orders for new animals, equipment, etc. She would ask about the progress of various crops. She would bring her children and have them observe the animals and gardens for horticultural and agricultural lessons, and she would invite her friends and family to enjoy private meals, music, or to taste the dairy products being made at the refreshments dairy, which is the surviving dairy. There was a now destroyed functioning dairy where products were made, then the refreshments dairy where they were served. The functioning nature of the hamlet served a triple purpose. It was used to create produce and dairy products which were used to supply the Queen's household. It was used a way to produce dairy products and vegetables to be distributed to the local poor, and it was a symbolic representation of Marie Antoinette's role as Mother of France via the production and distribution of milk and dairy products. She was even not the first French queen to have a dairy. Catherine de' Medici had a dairy, though the symbolic role of Medici's dairy differed from Marie Antoinette's. To quote Pierre de Nolec, a historian who was responsible for restoring Versailles, including the hamlet, as closely as possible to their original states. This is the truth concerning the royal amusements that legend has transformed into farcical comedies, there is no evidence for the improbable masquerade as shepherds and shepherdesses, as Drabis and Jones inhabiting the cottages. No one ever saw the queen playing the farm wife, nor the great nobles of her court disguised as bailiffs, millers, and gamekeepers. These parts were played by them on the stage only, and did not cross the footlights of the little theatre. Little Tuowoon, it's a quiet village. The cows, sheep, goats and pigs were washed daily by the servants, so whenever she showed up, they'd be very clean. And she used this, https://I. Pinimage. com/original/8f/2f/5d/8f2f5d71b233774688b590310392a1d. JPG, as her bucket whenever she'd milk the cows. Edit. A 19th century replica pair in mint condition was sold at Christie's for $21,500 for the two, https://www. Christie's.com/lotfinder/lot/a pair of Sèvres style Samson porcelain 5971428 details. ASPX. The Hamlet was not an eccentricity of Marie Antoinette's. It was en vogue at the time for nobles to have recreations of small villages on their properties. In fact, the design was copied from that of the Prince de Condé. It was also significantly smaller and less intricate than many other nobles. People forget she was a sheltered 16-year-old girl far from home with a twerp of a husband. She gets so much hate. Ha, how silly and ridiculous of her to do that. Goes back to playing Animal Crossing. Reminds me of Michael Jackson at the grocery store where his staff pretend to be shoppers so he could have the regular person running errands experience. Unreal. Huh, sounds like she invented Renaissance fairs. You want to live like common people. My partner and I wandered these gardens for hours. This was a couple of years ago, and there was a deadly heat wave in France. It was brutal. Somewhere near the servants' quarters, we wandered off into a grove of trees to get out of the blistering heat and relax for a bit. We ended up falling asleep under this enormous 80 feet and tree for hours. It was glorious. These days she'd get her celebrity friends round in their gated communities to sing Imagine at the rest of us. Is it still fake if it is functional? TIL Marie Antoinette was a LA arper. Honestly, I find this fascinating. I feel like I've heard a theory that she basically was completely ignorant of the peasants' actual living conditions, and that because of royalty culture at the time, there was no way for her to have known. Like when Michael Jackson privately rented a supermarket and hired a bunch of actors to walk around in it and pretend to shop so that he could have the experience of being a normal person shopping and putting things into his basket. https://youtube. b/df0wgpk5 t equals 4. She gets way too much of a bad rep. She was an outsider to Versailles, no one liked her and was bullied because she was an outsider, and her only job was to get pregnant by the king. It is still a great place to visit. It's free, it's in the Versailles Castle Park. I've been there. The whole thing is like a movie set or something. Very charming and pretty and picturesque. Just got done watching this weird history video, https://m. youtube.com/watch, v=v6z4zwdztbe, on the life of her children. Absolutely tragic. I feel what happened to Louis XVI was inevitable, but they really should have just let Marie and her kids leave in exile stripped of all royal titles. Wonder as a poor man what can I create to pretend to be rich? So far I have a lot of aluminum jewelry. Oh yeah sure, when Michael Jackson does it, it's sad because he never had a normal childhood. But when Marie Antoinette does it, she's insane.